Thank you, Rick, for being our musical foundation. We have Gretchen with us this morning to give us some special music. And a happy good morning to all of you. It's a beautiful, beautiful morning. And a thank you to Amy Jo, who isn't here today, who changed our template. We've got Fat Tuesday coming up, so I can see the saints have already marched in. So Maurita's going to be giving our message. Let's make sure we have our phones turned down so we're not disturbing anyone. And welcome. Let's stand and sing our first joy song.
Well, now I have an opportunity to greet you and say welcome both to you in the room and all of those who might be with us on the internet. Thank you. It is a beautiful day. Thank you, Pam, for reminding us to be grateful for that. We've had some not so grateful days in the very near past, but today is a special day. Today is the day that the Lord hath made. Let's remember to rejoice and be glad in it. How wonderful that we can get out of bed this morning, have something to eat, come here and join in that special feeling, that special spiritual communion of church. We're grateful for that, so grateful. This morning I wanted to speak briefly about knowledge. Knowledge frees. There can be no truth in ignorance. And now we can say we are not held nor bound by any ignorance or doubt or fear, since knowledge of truth hath made us free. In everything we are enriched by him, God, in all utterance and in all knowledge. So what is truth? People have been asking that question for as long as we've been around. The truth is, I am. You are. You exist. Something created you. Something created me. Something created our parents. What created life? What created this planet? What created the whole universe? What? being great enough, powerful enough to bring it forth, to acknowledge that there is something greater than we are, something that we can rely on, feel connected to, ask help from. All that is wrapped up in one idea: an eternal, all-loving, all-understanding, all-knowledgeable being to whom we turn. And the more we turn to that infinite power, the better off we are. The more life goes smoothly, the more we can feel trust in life, trust in good, trust in this one invincible power. So I welcome you today to, connect with that energy that is greater than we are, infinitely, and yet is absolutely connected, part of us. We do give thanks. We give thanks and feel a sense of joy for this day, which the Lord hath made. Shall we read our statement of being? God is all, both invisible and visible. One presence, one mind, one power is all. This one that is all is perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance. I am the individualized expression of God and am ever one with this perfect life, perfect love, and perfect substance.
I see what I'm playing.
Thank you so much. It was lovely. Well, it's time for our healing meditation. What a lovely moment in our lives to get still. Goodness knows, we applaud ourselves because we don't get still. We can get all this stuff done. But to be still, to close our eyes, shut out the world for a little while, renews us inwardly and outwardly. In that quietude, we tune into something that is greater than us. That perfect love, that perfect light, that perfect wisdom, understanding, that perfect good. So let's take a deep breath and feel even more tension go out of our bodies. We can see ourselves in the healing light of invincible justice and love. In this world, where there is so much controversy, anger, opposition, unfairness, we know that behind all that, behind that, exists an infinite power that is working through those events, individuals, to bring about nothing but greater good. We don't see it, but it is there. We rely on that, not being frightened, not being upset, not feeling antagonistic, but knowing good is coming forth. Knowing that good is ours to enjoy, to experience, to remember. Knowledge. A special kind of knowledge comes through us when we are quiet, when we listen inwardly, when we turn to God, expectant, with love, with acknowledgement of our connection with Him, of our dependence on Him. Right now, and for the next 90 seconds, shall we still ourselves even more and turn to the one power and presence and feel the love, because we are loved far more than we can ever imagine. His presence now, here, today, is blessing and lifting us in body, mind, and spirit. And let us go within and feel gratitude, infinite gratitude for God's presence. Starting right now. Come unto me, all ye who labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. I will give you insight. I will give you faith. I will give you comfort, assurance, solutions, a bright new day, and a sense of gratitude for all that is good within you and within your life. Lean on me. Trust me. Love me. For I love you. I trust you because you are part of me. You were made in my image. I wait on your trust. Amen. So, today I'm going to be talking about I can. Several weeks ago, I woke up in the middle of the night, and very, very soon after, my mind was filled with some troubling thoughts. Thoughts about finances. Some large expenses were in my path, my immediate path. And I went into the what if this happens, or what if that happens, how would I handle it? I don't want my children to be concerned about me in any way. What's the best way I should go? How can I handle this? What should I do? Well, this went on for about an hour or more, and all of a sudden, a Bible verse came into my head. And between one moment and the next, all my doubts disappeared. A solution came to mind, a good solution. And I could feel my body actually relax. And I fell asleep after taking just a few deep breaths. Phew. Now, what was the Bible verse that changed how I felt about what I needed to handle and what I was thinking about? Well, it's from Paul's letter to the Philippians, 4:13. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. All things. It was magical. Right there. Right there, I knew that I would have to stand in this place here and speak about it because it was so striking, so helpful. For a lot of Christians, this sentence means that Jesus could bless you and resolve any problems, give you persistence and the courage to do something really hard and succeed with that hard task. But to a divine scientist, it means something quite different. The word Christ is actually a title. The title means the anointed one, the son of the king, the one who inherits everything that the king has. Now, this title didn't just apply to Jesus, as wonderful as he was. The truth is that each and all of us has been spiritually anointed. We are all the son. We are all the child of the king. We are God's children. We are his image. We have all inherited all that the king, all that God has, because we are part of him. We are one with him. We are not only inseparably connected to God, but we are equally connected to every other soul. every other soul. The truth of God, the truth of the universe is connection. It's oneness. This is not just imagination or wishful thinking. This is physics. It's a science. When we use the phrase the Christ within, we're referring to that dimension within us which is God's image. It's that part of us that is immortal, that part of us, the soul, that is all power, all knowledge, all life, all love. Despite the fact that we don't usually feel that or experience that dimension of us, or define ourselves that way, it's the truth of us. And Paul was absolutely correct when he said for himself, and he said for all of us, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Now, getting still and saying this truth to yourself can begin to tap into that non-physical dimension of ourselves that does have the strength to persist and create and know the truth of oneself and overcome, no matter what the challenge might be, whatever difficulties out there. It's repeatedly brought from failure to success. A few days ago, in Asking Eric, that's the advice column in the newspaper, there was a letter from a woman who identified herself as emotionally exhausted. Her letter describes someone who just had too many responsibilities, someone whose job was being responsible for high-pressure decisions, who was a mother to a teenage girl, whose husband wasn't very involved or helpful because he was in a complicated custody battle with his ex-wife. In addition, she had elderly parents whom she checked on every day, and even the pets seemed dependent on her. This left her so tense and perhaps resentful that she had both physical and emotional problems. This lady is on an anti-anxiety medication. She meets with an executive coach every month. She posed this question to Mr. Eric, and he gave her a compassionate answer. He suggested that she share her present stress levels with her doctors, with her husband, and with close friends. Just kind of talk it out a little bit, not monopolize the conversation, but state what was going on within her, because he said this could be a real release valve for her. But then he also suggested getting still, doing some deep breathing and practicing mindfulness or meditation. What is mindfulness? It's just observing your thoughts and feelings without judging any of them. But getting still, that's something we do every Sunday morning. Sometimes deep breathing is suggested during this time, but instead of just observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment, as in mindfulness, that's the definition, we're led into a space of spiritual connection with God and with the deepest, most profound dimension of ourselves. What if emotionally exhausted could be persuaded to say this quote from Philippians in her time of getting still? What if? Do you think it would be of any help to her? I do. I think that saying to herself, I can do all things through Christ, who strengthens me, and saying it over and over and over again, whether she had our spiritual perspective or just the perspective that most Christians have, it could change her life dramatically. Dramatically for the better. It would slowly sink into her consciousness, and because thought attracts similar experiences, ideas, people. Like attracts like. That's the spiritual law. She'd either find solutions to her problems through doing this, or she'd look at them. She would define them differently. They'd cease to be problems, and maybe they would just be a pleasant routine, something she enjoyed. These responsibilities could become a source of inner satisfaction of being able to do that and do it well. All she had to do is have the right attitude toward it. As any and every dictator knows, if you repeat even a lie enough, it becomes the truth. People believe it. They believe what they hear. And most importantly, when we say to ourselves over and over, it enters our subconscious mind, it permeates it, and it becomes reality, three-dimensional reality for us. It attracts to us what we're thinking about. Now, I apologize, I've used it several times before, but this quote of Einstein is just perfect right here. Perfect. He said, everything is energy, and that's all there is to it. Match the frequency of the reality you want, and you cannot help but get that reality. The frequency, you cannot help but get that reality. It can be no other way. This is not philosophy, this is physics. Match the frequency of the reality you want. Match it. Think, affirm, believe that you can do whatever, because you have the mental and emotional capacity to put yourself in that energy frequency. And that reality is going to manifest for you. You'll be strengthened to accomplish whatever good you desire. Being overwhelmed with too much responsibility is one thing, but much worse, being raised in extreme poverty is another. Oprah Winfrey was the child of unmarried teenagers. She was raised on a farm by her grandmother, where she was neglected, abused, beaten. But her grandmother did teach her to read and write by the time she was 3 years old. And she distinguished herself in school. She did very, very well. But her whole life was terrible. Living variously with her mother and then with her father later on. She was beaten by her father. She was sexually abused by other men in the family. It was terrible. She succeeded in school. She got a scholarship to Tennessee State University. And later she went to work for a radio station. And after a few years, she moved to a television station. And you know the rest of the story. What happened with her. Viktor Frankl was born in Austria. He came from a Jewish family. He became a psychiatrist and neurologist. Unfortunately, he was caught up in the Holocaust. He was sent to several, not one, but 3 different concentration camps in Germany. Sadly, his wife and his parents died during that time in the concentration camps. And Frankl spent those 3 years just surviving by the narrowest. That he survived at all was almost miraculous. You stand in one line and survive and stand in another, you're in the gas chamber. He survived starvation, grueling labor in freezing conditions, not knowing if his wife or his parents were still alive. There were bouts of typhoid, there was humiliation, and the deaths of the people around him, the ones he associated with, uh, were right and left. Death, death, death. Frankel, though, realized that the most important difference between life and death in the camps was finding a reason to live. A purpose gave men the will to live. The ones that lost that reason, lost that purpose, quickly died. He took on the role of helping and consoling many of the other men in the camps, and found meaning through helping them in his suffering. Later he wrote this: "Everything can be taken from a man but one thing. The last of the human freedoms, to choose one's attitude in any given set of circumstances, to choose one's own way." Because he survived the war, and afterwards he wrote a book called Man's Search for Meaning. Man's Search for Meaning. It was an outstanding success. Millions and millions of copies were purchased, and countless numbers of people were helped. Finally, we can very briefly visit some other well-known people who had major challenges, either in childhood or later as an adult. Einstein didn't speak until he was 4 years old. His parents thought he was subnormal. He was expelled from school, and his teachers described him as mentally slow. Not a good start. Thomas Edison's teachers told him he was too stupid to learn anything. There was a musical group who was rejected by Decca recording studios, who said, "We don't like their sound. They have no future in the show business." And who were the members of this group? The Beatles. Abraham Lincoln had count them, 7 unsuccessful tries for public office before he became president. There is no question, at least in my mind, that all of these people would have repeatedly said to themselves, "I can, I can." Or they never would have succeeded. Despite the circumstances they found themselves in, there was an inner drive to keep at, to succeed, to do well at something. They did not accept the negative opinions of other people, but I have no doubt that they had very dark moments. Moments when they doubted themselves, when they were afraid, uncomfortable, discouraged, maybe even depressed. But when someone with even a little bit of faith says to themselves, "I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me," they're engaging an inner power that is vastly, vastly greater than depending on their own human abilities. They're using the power of oneness with an omnipresent God. They're affirming the spiritual truth that they are one with all of God's creation. Oh, that's not philosophy, that's physics. They are opening the door to success for themselves, to the realization of God's greater good through them. And they are spiritually maturing beautifully. Shall we go then? We can't do it all. We can't even do most of it. That is, knocking, seeking, asking for that opportunity, for that moment, for that place. But when we turn to this infinite, omnipresent power, this love, this wisdom, this good that is everywhere present, it can come to pass. It can unfold. It can bless us and through us bless so many other people because we know that it has come through us, but from God. Let us be grateful this day for being able to do all things through Christ, who strengthens us. Amen. So much. Really added to our service. Well, shall we have the blessing of the gifts? We have received so many gifts, both invisible ones and very visible ones. We've received, and now to continue that inward flow, we must allow an outward flow. We bless life with our good words, with our good thoughts, our good acts, and we bless both others and this church with our largesse. And we give great thanks for that. Together, today, I acknowledge God, omnipresent, as the source of all good, as the source of my good. With this acknowledgement, I accept God's will, which is abundant in every aspect of my life. I release all thoughts of lack and limitation, and I am open and receptive to the increased flow of abundance to me right now. I joyfully accept the gifts of life and the gifts memory of the special gift that I am. Through me, God omnipresent blesses and multiplies this gift for all. Thank you, dear God.
Good morning. Thank you, Gretchen, for stepping in at the last minute. I do appreciate it, and it was beautiful. Thank you. Bill Hoffman was supposed to be here, but Bill was in the hospital, so we asked for prayers for him. And so Gretchen stepped up last night and said yes, so we're very grateful for that. So, and it was a last minute thing, but very, very grateful, so thank you. Today is birthday Sunday, so we're going to sing happy birthday. Birthdays for March are DJ Barber, EJ Brown, Bob Edwards, Bobby Baldacci, and Kathy Thomason. So let's sing some happy birthday. Birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. And many more. And I know that the flowers today are sponsored by Maurita for DJ's birthday. So I'm assuming he's going to take them home with him. So
Oh, he's going to.
that's what I said. He
Oh,
is,
yeah.
yes. Okay. So happy birthday to DJ. And EJ also is her birthday, and I know that EJ is, has not been in church for quite a while, and she is in the Salem Rehab, the same place where Bob Brooks is. Actually, they are next door to each other. And I saw EJ yesterday. And I don't think she knew who I was, but I strolled her up the hall to the lunchroom. But if y'all could send her a card, birthday card or something, I think it would make her feel good. And it was just good to see her. And but these people go to these facilities and they seem to be forgotten about. And I don't want that to happen. So if you all could just send them a card or go visit them, it would mean the world to them. So I'll just ask that you do that. That would be very church of us to do that. I mean, we have to practice what we teach here. So just saying. So anyhow, this Saturday night we had to change our dinner out for this month because we couldn't get reservations. But our dinner out for March is going to be at Montano's at 6:00 this Saturday night. So if you can go, please let me know if at all possible today. But I'd like to know by Tuesday or so I can get an exact number of how many people are going. So we'll be at 6:00. And one of our favorite places, Montana. So yay. Finally, the 4 got down this week. Yay, yay. It was like, it's been one thing after the other, but we got over here. We had a little hiccup here and there, but we finally got it finished at 5:00. It looks really good, so y'all get a chance to go downstairs and look at it. So that project is done. Thank you. So anyhow, and also next Saturday night, or Sunday into Sunday morning, we go on daylight savings time. So after you get to the party in Montana, you're going to lose an hour's sleep. But I will remind people on Saturday that to make sure you set your clocks forward 1 hour. So anyhow, that will be happening this weekend also. Did you have anything? Okay, we still have our Wednesday night book reading at 5 and happy hour at 6:30. And see if I had something else to tell, but I must have forgotten about it. So anyhow, that's all right. I just want to remind everybody again, these are some trying times for people, and I know that people are edgy and everything, so we ask that everybody just, as I say all the time, please continue to be kind to everybody. It's not easy sometimes to do that, but please do that. Never know, just saying hi to somebody or whatever will make a big difference in their life. Also, as we said last week, everybody's always invited to church, but we're setting the first Sunday of every month to invite a friend. If you have somebody that hasn't been to church or you think might be interested, just invite them to come. Okay, I'd invite them to come to Wednesday night happy hour and maybe, like that, I don't know, but, get them involved somehow. Also, do what? I was getting ready to say, Ann back there moving her head, so game day is on Monday, excuse me, at 1:00. So, everybody that can come and play games or just have social time, whatever you want to do. Did you have anything? They would bring their own snacks, right? Okay. All right, it's 1:00, so, come and have a good time with Ann, okay? Anybody else? All right, then let's do this.
Well, we have a closing prayer, and then a lovely hymn that we're going to be singing. But our closing prayer is a prayer for the whole world, where there is great controversy, there is great suffering, there is lack in so many places in the world. And at the same time, as we pray for other countries, people, events, nature, we also pray for this country which is experiencing considerable controversy right now. We pray for anyone who is hungry anywhere. We pray for anybody who feels sick, who is lacking in any good thing. We say this prayer with love in our hearts for everyone, compassion in our hearts, and gratitude for all the good that we enjoy. Shall we together say, wrong way, go the other way. Do you see it? It's got the Ukrainian flag. There it is. There. Good. There we go. The light of God surrounds you. The love of God enfolds you. The power of God protects you. The presence of God watches over you. The mind of God guides you. The power of God abides in you. The strength of God renews you. Wherever you are, God is, and all is well. So, shall we now have our final hymn?